My view of public education's purpose is, well, there's certainly the core subjects, but you got to go beyond that. You want to do something to create an edge. Sabetha, for example, has been ranked in the top 20 in the state, and there's a collection of things that goes into that. I don't know how much stock I put into that, but it does have some meaning. It does send kids on for the future with success, and you don't want to stop doing the things that lead to that success for the kids. And it may be college, it may not be, it may be vocational, but you want to keep those opportunities and those opportunities to learn discipline through teams and otherwise.
Okay, go ahead.
The advice that I would need to take, it would be multifaceted. One of the first things I want to do is, with the help of Todd Evans, superintendent, is nail down numbers. The math kind of gets fuzzy, and you got to get it unfuzzy. Operational budget versus capital budget, what the rules are. The future is not clear yet on what the rules for next year are. We got to get there, but you got to make fact-based decisions. I also would like some advice from others. I have sought some advice from teaching corps principals, Todd Evans himself and his philosophies, and then just various other parents. I'm not really withholding sources to get advice from. Well, so I'm running for the at-large, but the at-large position is another position that anybody from any one of the regions or the schools can go for. So I'm trying to win it. I live in Sabetha. I went to school in Sabetha. I have 4 kids, ages 3 to 10, that are going to Sabetha schools. It is not a competition, or I certainly don't want it to be. I don't like that the budget has created a certain bickering between the schools, but I do represent Sabetha. I think there's a stewardship that you have to have there, and I will definitely do that. And then also make decisions as best as you can for the entire District 113. But it would be like not representing Kansas at the Senate if you got elected senator or representative. The communication between the district and the public, it's a tough call. I have admittedly wanted more. At the same time, I can see the difficulty that they have. Certainly, if you're in a business and you have a board and you have a management team, you're not publicly doing what you're doing. You're taking care of business. You need to make good decisions, and so the point of them being there is to make good decisions, not to necessarily talk about every one of them. But again, it is a public institution, and I would like some more feedback. I think as a parent, I've found the responsibility to go find out information, and so there is a public responsibility to go look for it. I would want to provide maybe a little bit more understanding behind my decisions. Special education, I guess the first thing I need to clarify is I haven't thought of everything before coming here. I certainly have my core reasons for being here. The subject of special education has come up. I, as a parent, don't have that need to apply it. However, it is one of the balance of things, as we were discussing earlier in a different question, that the school district needs to be able to provide within its locations to set itself apart and to help all kids, maybe vocational, maybe college, future, maybe not. My understanding is that special education has been pretty solid here in the past, and it would be taking away from a portion of the community the specific things that help those students. I'd hate to see it go. The proposed deductions. I've seen some of what has been itemized. I think the board would say these are looking at all options and haven't necessarily been made motions of yet. I'd like to think that some of what I've seen would not be moved. A couple of things I haven't seen a motion for or serious inspection into is closing additional buildings. That's an ugly thing to say, but at this point you have to actually say it. We're you know, $1.5 million shy. Well, they've got about $1 million of that figured out, and a $580,000 deficit from there. That's not exact numbers maybe, but at the same time the future calculation may make it worse. Well, if you're in that boat and you have $250,000 shy or more on a couple of buildings, you have to consider that as well, and I'd hope that that would be considered too, but I don't think motions have been made yet. Well, the feasibility of running 3 different K through 12 facilities, it comes down to the money. I wish we could. I wish we didn't have Byrne closed. I can recall I graduated '93 from Sabetha, and I recall some classes when I ran into some kids down at college from Byrne, when we had some Wetmore kids come up from for football practice. You know, this was a good bunch of kids. They were fantastic schools, and I hate to consider, you know, losing them. But again, kind of like the last question, you have budget numbers to concern yourself with. If you become a shell of what your former self was, are you even educating the kids to the whole point of why you put them through the school system to begin with when they're 18 and beyond? I'm not sure that the numbers actually justify that, so I'm not sure I can justify K through 12 for all 3 places. The decisions that the school board have made, I think some of what I object to might be what we're discussing might happen. I don't have as many criticisms of how they got here, just as tough as it's been. I think that we've spent a little bit of capital money on a school building that, you know, or two that was going away. So maybe that wasn't the best. I don't think anybody's arguing that, though. So this past year, I don't have a lot of criticisms, a ton of them, for what has been made. It's more about the discussion of what might be done with the budget cuts, and I think some of the verdict is still out on what they do from here.